OMAD, or 1 meal a day, is a form of intermittent fasting where you only eat, well, once a day. Pretty self-explanatory. OMAD has become really popular. In fact, I got a lot of requests to talk about it. So I looked at all the science on OMAD. Let's look at the main positives and the potential concerns. First, the positives. Number one, OMAD is simple. Not easy, we'll get to that in a second, but simple. You eat once a day within a 1 hour window, and that's it. You're doing OMAD. No cutting calories, no cutting out entire food groups, no complicated meal plans. Simple. Okay, I like simple. What else you got? Two, OMAD can help you cut calories. Unless you're one of those competitive eaters, you're probably not going to eat as much in one meal as if you ate all day long. So it naturally cuts calories even if people aren't focused on them. That can help with weight loss and the usual metabolic improvements that come with it. Better glucose, etc. 3. OMAD saves time. Less time spent eating and cooking and doing dishes and whatnot. I like it so far. Simple, saves time, sounds like my kind of diet. Okay, let's look at the concerns. You're gonna ruin it, aren't you? Not necessarily. They're not negatives per se, more like a heads up. Something to bear in mind. I don't have a horse in this race. I don't have anything personal for or against OMAD. As long as people are healthy and making informed choices, whether it's OMAD or IF or whatever acronym they like, fine with me. Yeah, stop softening the blow. Let's just hear the negatives. Number one, it can be hard. Some people may find it difficult to fast 23 hours a day. You might feel very hungry, but it's a personal thing. Some people may find it super convenient and doable. Number two is the issue of quality. I've raised this before in our first intermittent fasting video. Fasting tends to put the focus on quantity, but the main issue with food in our society is quality. Now, the last time I mentioned this, some of you brought up an interesting point. For example, F. Glenn 73 said that most people who promote fasting promote healthy foods. That's great. If this is clear to everybody out there, great news. And I have no doubt that this is obvious for most of you who watch my videos. My concern is that I keep seeing these diets marketed to the general public as cheat codes. As this article says, you can eat or drink pretty much whatever you want on OMAD, even pizza, burgers, and beer, and as much as you want, as long as you do it during your scheduled mealtime. So that's what I'm talking about. Fasting is not going to fix a bad diet. Like I said last time, the main issue is not the fasting, it's the feasting. It's even possible to lose weight and remain unhealthy. And here's another issue. Someone goes on OMAD and loses some weight. Then what? OMAD doesn't teach them how to eat healthy per se. So now they're a little trimmer and they think, problem solved. And they go back to eating the same way that created the problem in the first place. It's a vicious cycle. And in fact, several studies show the weight lost during fasting is often regained unless there's an overall change to how people eat. So I sincerely hope that viewer is right and everybody who's fasting is super clear on this and eating really healthy. Everybody wins. Great. Okay, moving on. Point number 3. If you're gonna do OMAD, I suggest you make sure that your nutrient requirements are met. Maybe run your OMAD meal through Chronometer to make sure it covers all the vitamins and minerals and fiber and even protein, which normally is one of the easiest nutrients to get enough of, but at 1 meal a day, you might want to make sure. 4, if you have any conditions like type 2 diabetes, for example, talk to your doctor before you start any form of fasting, OMAD or otherwise. Got it. So make sure I eat healthy foods in between fasting, make sure I get my daily requirements, and make sure I don't have a condition that could make it dangerous. Anything else? Well, here's a concern I've seen people raise, but I don't necessarily agree. For example, this video by this big channel makes an interesting observation, that OMAD may worsen glucose metabolism, based on this study. Now, I love that he's showing solid scientific sources. I wish more people would do it, but I'm not sure about that interpretation. The study compared eating 3 meals a day with eating all the food in a big dinner. The negative effects could come from eating only 1 meal a day, like he says, but there's another possibility. It could come from when that meal was eaten. As we saw in the time-restricted feeding video, our circadian rhythm has a strong effect on our physiology and on how we react to food. It's part of a whole field called chronobiology. Crown of the what? Speak English, son. If people eat a snack late at night, they can end up with higher cholesterol and burning less fat than if they eat the same snack in the morning. In fact, your body uses up more calories to process food in the morning than at night, which means that when you eat earlier, you can end up with less calories, even if you ate the same amount of calories. I'm going to say that again in case it's confusing. If you eat the same amount of calories earlier and later in the day, your body uses up a higher percentage of calories earlier, so you end up with less, even though you ate the same amount of calories. Crazy, right? Researchers call this effect diet-induced thermogenesis. Thelma, what? Here we go. It's gonna start with a nerd fest. Back to cat videos it is. And that's not all. Research has shown we tend to get hungrier, feel less satiated, and crave more fatty foods at night than in the morning. There are many studies pointing to this circadian effect and suggesting we front load our calories, a strong breakfast and lunch, and lighter meals later in the day. So personally, if I was going to do OMAD, I would do the one meal in the morning or early in the afternoon. That will give you the benefit of cutting calories from OMAD, plus the chronobiology benefit of eating earlier in the day. This is why it's important we make sure that we look at all the data in a field. We normally call it the totality of the evidence, but I don't want to get too nerdy on you. Okay, no risk of that. In general, with any new dietary trend, we're not going to have a lot of data, precisely because it's new. So it's always a bit of an educated guess with these novelties. So there's a lot of unanswered questions with OMAD, as long as we're honest about what we do and do not know. Because the marketing is always going to be hypey, and the new diet is always going to be a miracle that gives you wings and immortality and great hair. So as long as we have the data and we don't fall for that, that puts you in a good position to make an informed choice. Here's the original video on intermittent fasting, and here's the one on meal timing, in case you missed them. Let me know if you have any questions below. See you next week.